Hello everyone, Jason KO4TFE here today at, where am I? Old Fort Harrod State Park. I actually came here today to attend the, I believe it's called Native Dawn Flute Gathering, a Native American celebration with Native American flutes and dancers and people selling Native American goods and stuff. It was pretty neat. It was impressive. It's a pretty nice day. It's like 80, but it's very humid, and the dancers, I don't know how they put up with what they had to, but so we're done with that, and I'm over here. While I'm here, figured I might as well activate. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up. Today I have a new toy to play with. I got the Wolf River Coil at Hamvention. So I'm gonna try it out today, and I'm not sure exactly how this is gonna go because this is the CQWPX contest this weekend. And so the bands are probably gonna be absolute nightmare, but worst case, I'll just make some contest QSOs and call it an activation. So let's see if we can get this guy set up here. I'm going to put it on without the coil first. I need to make the modification that everybody does, the jumper, to get it around, to bypass the coil, but I don't have that yet. So I'm going to leave the coil off and work some of the upper bands. Since it's a contest, I might try 17. I did bring my 891 today so that I can get some of those other bands if needed. That's one of my favorite things about POTA, is that you don't have to call CQ POTA if you don't want to. Let's see, I wonder how long, I don't know how long my coax is exactly, but thankfully, oh wow, that was great. We've had a lot of rain here lately, so the ground is very soft. Now let's see if I can, nope. I knew those were going to get tangled. That's all right. This is my radial setup. Usually works okay. Apparently didn't wrap it well enough this time, so they kind of got tangled when I threw them out. There are 4 radials on each of these little connectors. And what I have is 8 5-meter radials. So it gives me 40 meters worth of radials, which previously was the lowest band I could operate. With the coil and the 17-foot whip here, I can actually get out to, well, I can get to the voice portion of 80, which is pretty good, I think, for a pretty small footprint. Again, I decided to use more short radials rather than a few long ones, just because it's easier to manage, and really it doesn't matter. Callum over at DX Commander has a lot of videos on radials, and you know, the more you can put the better, but as long as you have one wavelength on the lowest band you want to operate, in general you're gonna be pretty good. And that can be, wow, this one's really a mess. That can be 4 10-foot radials, or 8, or excuse me, meter, or 8 5-meter radials like I have here. Important thing is just to get as much wire as you can. All right, I think I got most of it, so let's see if we can get these other ones here. Yeah, this was my first Hamvention. I was pretty excited to get to go. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I bought tickets like a week, maybe 2 weeks before the show. So I only went up on Saturday because I didn't have any place to stay. And next year I think I'll probably plan a little better. Or I may actually try to get, go to Hamcation and go do a little vacation down in Orlando while we're there. All right, so let's just run this guy all the way up. Ah, that new antenna smell. All right, now let me get some coax. Should be long enough, I think. And so with that whip all the way extended and the radial field I have right there, it's resonant exactly at 14.2. So let's go over here to 17. I'm going to shorten this guy just a bit. Getting close. So we collapsed one full section there. I moved closer. Let's collapse two. There we go. Perfect. All right. So let's see. Let's go up to 17. 18078. Let's see what our SWR looks like. 1.5. Looks like I'm running out of lead. I hope I don't run out in the middle of activation. Looks like I'm running out of notebook too. So let's see, I am at US 1296, I think it is, Fort Herod. Today is the 25th of May. And I have Wolf River Coil, FT-891. I am still going to, let's see, HF power. All right, so I'm still running 5 watts. Running 20 words a minute. And it is now 2200 hours. All right, so let's see. I did not schedule this activation, so we're just going to call and see what happens. Actually, you know, before I do that, I've changed this key a little bit since you guys have seen it last. So this is the base that I made previously. I added another row of magnets, which helps it grip the little plate there a little bit better. Also, I redesigned the keyholes so that they're the same as the keyholes on my little knee board that I made. And then I also went ahead and made a shield to cover all the wiring and enclose it really nicely, and then made a nice sheathed cable. So I'll be using this on my knee board here in the future. I was actually going to this morning at a different park, but ended up wanting to come to this flute festival instead. So all right. I have not been on the air in, well, since my last activation, so whenever that was. Actually, I think I may need my little speaker here.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing.
I mentioned it before. I've never been a huge fan of the speaker on the 891. It's a little bit anemic. Turn that down just a little bit. I suspect my keying is going to be pretty rough because I haven't been on the air in so long. Between bad weather, let me just do this, between bad weather and bad propagation, it's just not been really worth getting out. Of course, with this radio and this antenna, I do have the option of running up to 50 watts on CW. Alright, I'm going to see if I can spot myself. I may have to stop the video, but I'll be right back with you if that's the case. Alright, sorry about that. I am back. I went ahead and spotted myself. See if that helps any. I don't know if I'm getting out, if anybody can hear me. I didn't see any RBN spots for myself. I know there's other hunters out there, other activators out there, so I'm hoping there's hunters and everybody's not just out working the contest. There's somebody there. Alright, I'm going to call a couple more times and move down the bands. Wow, I heard somebody loud and clear in there. So Washington, first contact. That's pretty good. All right. All right, so I'm going to jump onto 15 and see if we have any better luck there. One contact on 17. I mean, I'll take that. I wasn't sure how things were going to go at all. Like I said, the bands have been so strange lately. I was on the radio the other day at home on my DX10, and I heard one station on every single band, on any band. There was only one station I could hear anywhere on the whole amateur radio spectrum. So that was interesting. All right, let's move my little marker up here to 21. All right, we're looking pretty good there, about 1.5 to 1. But yeah, to use the DX10 and only hear one station across any band is pretty rare. So that's how you know the propagation is really rough. But we also got the auroras, some pretty spectacular auroras down here into Kentucky. So that was pretty awesome. All right, so let's go to 21. Now this might be a little bit harder to find a spot. Oh, hearing somebody there. I'm going to, I forgot how to use this right, there we go. I'm going to narrow my filter just so I can maybe find some place that's not occupied. All right, let me move my spot real quick. All right, I'm back with you. So let's start calling here and see what we can get, if anything. I gotta put 17 meters, 15 meters. I can hear some adjacent stations there, but I do have my filter pretty tight just because the contest conditions. Okay, now I've got somebody really close to me here. But that's what we expected. It's a contest. I actually wanted to work this contest, but I had other stuff to do and I missed the beginning of it, and so didn't figure it was much point. But it is one of my favorite contests, the WPX. If you haven't done it, the goal is just to collect as many prefixes as you can. So people from all over the world are just trying to get points for getting different prefixes. So if you need some DX entities or some countries missing from your list, it's a good way to get them. Probably not going to hang out here long because, again, with the contest, you never know who can hear you. I'm running QRP. I've got some pretty loud stations next to me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move. All right, I wonder, let's see. Should we try 12? I might go down the bands. Let's try. Let's see. Let's see if we can get something on 30. I'm going to have to add the coil in though, so this will be interesting. Let's see. Just going to take this guy off and collapse completely. And then just going to do this one hand here. I'm going to lay it down flat. You make 7 big rounds like I would say is a pretty nifty toy. Works really well, especially now the ground is so soft because so much rain here lately. I think for 30, probably that'd be pretty well down. Coil here, raise that back up. And let's see if that puts this move. Okay. Now pop the coil. I'll just drop one. It's going to hit 10, 116-ish, 10, 150's close as I can get. See this. Help hurt, not what's going on. I tuned this puppy up yesterday, worked great. This coil looks like a theory. Actually, like a theory. Yesterday got down to 80. Alright, this is the whole amateur band and see where we got a dip here. We're at 3. That moves up to 6. Let's say I'm too low. Alright, now I'm a little too high. 2.3. Okay, so there's 2 to 1. All right, so there's 1.6. 1.5, I'm going to call that good. I'll get used to tuning this. I've never, like I said, never really tuned this antenna, but once I get a feel for kind of where the whip and the coil need to be. Okay. 30 meters. It is getting late in the day too, so this band should work pretty well. WB3 DDJ. Yeah, I told you this was going to be rough. That was by Pennsylvania. I usually get a lot of Pennsylvania. It's not an activation if I don't have at least one Pennsylvania station. right? Did I get it? Man, I'm really having trouble pulling you out here. I don't know if I got your call right. I hope so, but I lost you, I think, or maybe you gave up. I hope I got it right. I think it was K3TEE, maybe? Very loud, good signal. Ooh, fading. Right, like anything? Try again. One of me. Oh, good. Let's just crash something. We're waiting for the propagation. Just lots of values. What do you do? I just think I'm going to take a picture of the spot. I need 2 more for activation, plus a couple of buffer contacts. So let's see if we can get this done on 30 meters here. Could go down to 40, but I don't know what it's going to look like with the contest going on either, so we'll try to finish it up here. Is that right? Try that. Jersey. I keep forgetting. I've lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, let's call a couple more times. We've got 11. I think there's one blown call in here. I believe it's K3TEE, but I could be wrong. So we will hope for the best, but let's plan for the worst. Try to get a couple more here. It's getting on towards supper time. I'm getting kind of hungry. Smelling all the funnel cake at that event earlier didn't help either. I'd like to get one more just for safety. But I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute. I'm hoping tonight or tomorrow, this is Memorial Day weekend, so I'm hoping to finish up my TR35. I have finished up the actual build, and so now it's just on to actually setting up the, doing all the initial testing and alignment before we put it on the air. I'm not sure which video will drop first, this one or the completion of that one, but hopefully you'll see me use that rig out in the field pretty soon. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it. All right, so there we go.
Power on.
We got an activation done. We have 11 in the log, one potentially blown call, but we'll see. I hope I got it right because he was sending really slow, and I really wanted to get him in the log, but he kept dropping in and out. On the video, sometimes it sounds clearer, so we'll listen to it again and see before I put the logs in, and hope we'll pick him up. But like I said, I don't know which video is going to hit first, this one or the TR35 completion, but the build is done on that guy. So we'll be probably a couple videos this week, this one maybe, and that one to show everybody the finished product, and then put it on the air soon. I know Doug Bowe has been building along with me, so I hope that we can do a TR35 to TR35 QSO soon. But until I see you next time, thanks for coming along, and 73.